The year 2020 will always be remembered as the year that the entire world was rocked by a pandemic that is still raging on. From the moment 2020 started, many persons lost their lives to this pandemic. For Jamaica, whilst we may have been hit by this pandemic and we would have managed to survive 2020, with less damage from this issue than many other countries across the globe. It was Jamaica that was hit by another dangerous situation in the form of the People's National Party's most crushing defeat of the 20th century. Of course, this cruel beating, which will forever be remembered and which would have left an indelible mark in the minds of all People's National Party's members and supporters across Jamaica, was so skillfully and masterfully administered by the Jamaica Labour Party, which was being led by the Little Master, Andrew Holness, and the rest of the team. September 3rd, 2020, Andrew Holness became a second-term Prime Minister. And of course, he would have taken over the leadership of the Jamaica Labour Party after Bruce Golding demitted office. He managed to administer a serious treatment to the People's National Party. And this was so serious that he has managed to beat the PNP into political submission. They delivered an almost serious and life-threatening blow to the PNP and its supporters. And of course, they are still trying to recover from this Jamaica Labour Party's beating at the polls on September 3rd, 2020. Jamaica was painted in a sea of green, as the Jamaica Labour Party took all of 49 of the 63 seats that were available in the parliamentary elections, which were held on September 3rd, 2020. There was a huge and a massive beating of the PNP, and it's something that they will never forget. There was something quite similar before when the Jamaica Labour Party took all of 51 to the PNP's 9 seats in the 1980s parliamentary election. The PNP also had a chance when they took 52 and beat the Jamaica Labour Party in 1993, leaving them with only 8 seats. And of course, in 1997, there was a 50-10 beating, and this was of course administered to the Jamaica Labour Party. Andrew Holness and the Jamaica Labour Party managed to return the favour in the year 2020. Whilst the pandemic was raging across the globe, the Jamaica Labour Party was causing their own political crisis in Jamaica, and this crisis was stirred within the People's National Party. This crisis played out on election night on September 3rd. And before the counting was over, it could clearly be seen that it was a political battlefield. The Jamaica Labour Party had torn apart the People's National Party, and they had claimed all the victories across the land. And everything was green, and even those who were sure that they would be returning to the House of Representatives after Parliament would reconvene in September were left outside of the House of Representatives, leaving the PNP with a mere 14 seats in the House of Representatives. And of course, this also left them without a leader, without a president, because of course, sooner or later, Dr. Peter Phillips was asked to leave office in less than 30 days. Was also Dr. Peter Phillips who said on the morning of September 3rd that if his team lost the general elections, he would resign. And as true to that statement, he had to hand in his resignation to the chairman of the party. and sooner or later, whilst he was asked to stay on, the PNP-YO and the president thereof went on to demand that Dr. Peter Phillips demit office sooner than he had planned. The year 2020, Andrew Holness managed to lead the Jamaica Labour Party to its first consecutive victory in parliamentary elections since 1967. Of course, this is what he said. He said, "Tonight, the victor is the people of Jamaica. You came out in your droves, you came out in your hundreds and your thousands, and you participated in this process of democracy. You voted and you expressed yourself through your ballots. And of course, this is my acceptance of your political mandate." This defeat by the Jamaica Labour Party left the People's National Party without their leader, Dr. Peter Phillips. He was forced to carry out his promise to resign from his post of opposition leader and that of president of the PNP if his party failed to attain victory. Hours after the loss, he announced his decision to vacate his post, and this would pave the way for the November 7th Delegates Conference to elect a new leader, and the new leader was Mark Golding. Of course, the Jamaica Labour Party had called their elections before it was due, but all the opinion polls had predicted that there would be defeat for the People's National Party, despite the aura of optimism that these party supporters of the PNP were exuding ahead of Election Day. It was only after September 3rd that the Jamaica Labour Party would have realized that they would have gotten a sweet surprise from the people of Jamaica. They ensured that their leader had a new mandate. And of course, the People's National Party continues to roll on and to try to get themselves together. However, the Jamaica Labour Party, led by the JLP chairman, Robert Montague, described the year 2020 as a phenomenal year for the Jamaica Labour Party. According to Montague, it was an excellent year for the Jamaica Labour Party and for Jamaica. He said that the JLP managed to win 49 seats, and they have also managed the health crisis well. He said, whilst there were challenges, we have overcome and became a better country. The pandemic would have changed the face of political campaigning, as was practiced for many decades in Jamaica before the public's eye. Politicians turned to social media to reach the populace. Older politicians and those versed in the traditional ways of campaigning were forced to find creative ways of maintaining contact and communication with their constituents. September 3rd, there was a swing, and victory returned many to power, and many lost power at the same time. And of course, it has been an awesome year. And many will say that they would have been plagued by challenges, but many will also say that they have found many opportunities to thrive in 2020. Whilst it was a difficult year, it is a year that we will tell our children about. It is a year that we would have and will continue to conquer. For those who remain aloft and for those who remain alive, it is your challenge to make 2021 even greater for yourselves and your families. And I'm sure your political counterparts are thinking the same. They will want to make 2021 even better than 2020. And if all persons continue to work together, I am sure 2021 will be phenomenal for all involved. Of course, we wish the best to every single one out there. Thanks for watching and goodbye.